Hello again, 240. In this video, we will conclude Babe, the Texas Tomboy. And Diedrichson attempted to capitalize on her Olympic fame, receiving a nice raise from McCombs and earning substantial sums on the vaudeville circuit, telling corny jokes, singing, jumping hurdles, running a treadmill, and playing a harmonica. She appeared as a pitcher in 200 games with the popular men's touring baseball team, the House of David, which required its players to wear long beards as part of their promotional gimmickry. She even pitched an inning of a 1934 exhibition game for the St. Louis Cardinals against Connie Mack's Philadelphia Athletics, getting slugger Jimmy Fox to fly out. Played basketball for the barnstorming Babe Diedrichson's All-Americans, and would have taken up tennis, except for a chronic right shoulder injury. These activities, while bringing in much-needed dollars because she was now supporting her parents, were essentially gimmicks and smacked of hucksterism or hustling. In search of a serious competitive outlet, Diedrichson turned to a game she had played only casually a few times previously, golf. For several months, she hit an estimated 1,500 practice balls a day. She won the prestigious Texas State Women's Golf Championship in 1935, but on the top amateur circuit, Diedrichson found herself treated as a pariah by her fellow golfers, largely women from genteel social circles who found her appearance, penchant for self-promotion, and questionable use of language beneath their expectations of a lady golfer. These criticisms stung, and Diedrichson determined to undergo an image change. She wore more fashionable clothes, had her hair done in the latest styles, began wearing makeup and high heels, and was even seen carrying a dainty monogram purse. In 1938, she met a leading professional wrestler at a golf exhibition in California, fell in love, and 11 months later married George Zaharias. The rumors about her sexual orientation diminished, but did not disappear. Diedrichson's status as an amateur golfer was questioned because she had received compensation for her basketball and baseball exploits. Rumors suggested that some of her fellow golfers filed a protest with the United States Golf Association because they were unable to beat her. Beyond question, she had used her Olympic fame to earn money, had been paid well by the House of David, and had received part of the gate as a barnstorming basketball player. But she had never played golf for money. Nonetheless, she was given a 3-year suspension with the understanding that her amateur status would be restored if she did not play any sport for pay for 3 years. She served the 3-year suspension and returned to competition in 1943. In 1945, her victory at the Western Tournament began a 10-year streak of golf that has never been equaled. Her game featured long drives. She was routinely 225 to 240 yards off the tee. One day, with a brisk wind to her back, she nailed a drive 442 yards. This is before medals. She often outdrove top male professionals in exhibition matches. She played the game shrewdly and intelligently, although at times she struggled on the green. In a reversal of her earlier effort to preserve her amateur status, she played a pivotal role in establishing the Ladies Professional Golf Association, the LPGA. In 1946-7, she won 17 consecutive tournaments. She was now earning $100,000 a year in product endorsements and, despite many spats with her peers, was elected president of the LPGA 3 times and did much to elevate the public awareness of the women's game. Nonetheless, the prize money for the LPGA Tour was paltry in comparison with the men's tour. The largest single payday she received for a victory was $2,100. In 1951, she earned $15,087 when she won 8 tournaments and finished second in 5 others. It was the largest annual amount won by a woman golfer up to that time. Diedrichson continued her dominance of women's golf until spring 1953, when she was diagnosed with colon cancer. At a time when even the mention of the word cancer was generally avoided, she publicly announced the nature of her disease and devoted herself to raising monies for research and treatments. Incredibly, she returned to golf 4 months after major abdominal surgery and quickly regained championship form, winning 9 more tournaments and finishing in the money in 20 others. She had to combat fatigue and pain, but her competitive fires still burned brightly. However, the disease returned, and in September 1956, the woman who was overwhelmingly elected the top female athlete of the first half-century died at 45 years of age. News coverage of the last 10 years of Babe Didrikson Zaharias' life should have been concentrated upon her unprecedented success as a professional golfer. Her string of golfing triumphs, however, provoked an ongoing discussion about her transformation from muscle moll to a loving wife and homemaker who, the press never seemed tired of reporting, was an expert cook, loved to work in her flower garden, and slept in an 8-foot square bed with her husband. Life magazine announced her transformation into a real woman with a headline, "Babe is a lady now." The world's most amazing athlete has learned to wear nylons and cook for her huge husband. Definitely biased coverage. The fact that she eventually concentrated upon a sport with high social standing, one that seemed more feminine, seemed to mollify critics. The Saturday Evening Post proclaimed that although she was once rumored to be a male, she now definitely had large breasts and a slender waist. The article noted with approval her cooking, interior decorating, curtain making, gardening, and other housewifely arts. The once hypercritical Paul Gallico even commented favorably upon her transformation from the man-girl who hated sissies to a feminine woman. After her death, journalists were prone to say that she would be remembered not just for her many athletic accomplishments, but, as Gallico wrote, likewise in the hearts of all of us who loved her for what she was, a splendid woman. As the life of Babe Didrikson Zaharias illustrates, even at mid-century, the status of women athletes was tenuous at best. They could not be recognized simply as athletes, but were subject to scrutiny for the level of their tomboyishness, their attention to domestic responsibilities, and their athletic performances. As Cindy Himes concludes, Babe Didrikson Zaharias, more than any female athlete of her day, embodied the new female athlete. Zaharias changed cultural perceptions of the physical limitations of womanhood, using her body as a weapon. And although she eventually knuckled under to society's dictates, for many years she stood in direct defiance of sex and class prejudice in the world of sport and in society at large. Babe Didrikson Zaharias became the standard for excellence in women's sports for several decades.